doing? How you doing? Welcome back. Let's jump right into it. This happened yesterday. It's kind of crazy. 28 girls were hospitalized in Colombia because they were playing with a Ouija board at school, and they just mysteriously started fainting and having mass anxiety. Over 28 girls. Just girls. It's kind of weird. There's many things here that I'm not so sure about. Like when I read it, I was like, okay, all right, I'd be scared because that's scary. I mean, young girls shouldn't be playing with Ouija boards. I mean, that's well, I guess that's what you do when you're a young kid. I don't think that would be weird if you were 40 playing with a Ouija board. I think that's actually exactly who it's for. It's for young girls. But the thing that caught my eye was it's young girls who were playing the Ouija board at school, in school. They were playing Ouija board. They were playing Ouija board in their school. I'm imagining it's Columbia, so I'm assuming it's a Catholic school. And doesn't that go against, I went to parochial school in Philadelphia, and that was devil stuff. So maybe they were doing that because they were trying to be rebels. It's like the equivalent of in a cat, smoking in the bathroom. They're playing Ouija board at Sister Mary's school, elementary school or whatever. I don't even know the name of the school, but that's what I'm assuming. They all decided they were going to conjure up a spirit, and now they're all in a hospital because they have mass anxiety and they're fainting. I just remember when I was a kid, I think I did, when I was in high school, actually, I think I did, a few times I played the Ouija board, and it was fun. Because I messed with my friends and I pretended that I was talking to someone and I wasn't talking to anybody. And that's fun because if you're really good at pretending that the thing is moving, and then it's all about acting. So I remember I was in with my friend Kathleen, and I made up this whole character of this old ghost that was haunted in her house. And anyway, she cried, and that was so much fun. See, that's what we did back then. That's what we did before Instagram. That's what we did before TikTok. I like these girls. I'm sorry you're in the hospital, but I like it. Because, look, you're on your phone. It's passive activity. You're on a Ouija board. It's fun. It's who can mess with who? Who can conjure up fake... maybe I'm sure that, once in a while there is a spirit that's I'm a spirit. Talk to me. But I would just say 9 times out of 99, or wait, that doesn't make it any bad. I failed at math. 9 times out of 10, you're not talking about a spirit. Someone's fucking with you. One of your friends is trying to mess with you. Because it's a board game made by Procter and Gamble. It's like a piece of cardboard with a plastic thing. But I think it would be, I don't know. I think it's interesting that all 28 girls they all fainted. What was the ghost? Was it Justin Bieber? Why were they fainting? It's what would make them faint? I want to talk to these girls. I want to follow up. It was very vague. It was a very vague article. The New York Post posted it first. They broke the news, the New York Post. They were taken to a local hospital, some having fainted, shown signs of anxiety and other symptoms. We don't know what... So you got to be more specific. I need to know what the other symptoms are. So they played with the infamous spirit boards at the Galeras Educational Institute in the city of Pasto, Colombia. And the principal said there were 28 possible cases of anxiety in school students. And the current condition of the girls who were hospitalized is currently unknown. And they haven't made it public. But the principal, he urges the community to refrain from spreading rumors. Good. That's good. We're going to investigate. Parents, don't worry. And we're going to figure out what happened. Maybe they were sneaking in the bathroom. Maybe they were doing something maybe it was during lunch break and they were in the bathroom and they were we don't want to vape. We want to conjure up spirits. I think it's better than vaping, actually. Although they're in the hospital, so maybe not. I don't know. Look, they're kids. They're idiots. They're dumb. They have to learn. I think the Ouija board thing is fun. And I think one kid, I'm sure there's one kid in there who was just messing with them and really was a good actor or actress or whatever and was trying to convince them all that they had some scary, they conjured some scary spirit. And all the girls are I think it's mass hysteria. I think we can all agree that that is a real condition, mass hysteria. We all went through it, right? So this little school is a petri dish of look at what's going to happen. One girl who's just messing with her friends, like I'm going to call her Jane Ouija. Jane Ouija was like, I hear that this is the ghost of the Pastos, the mayor of Pastos, a small city of Colombia, and he's very angry. And then all the girls are like, oh my God, I can't believe it's the mayor of Pastos. Anyway, or it could be like Michael Jackson or Prince or something like that. So anyway, the parents are like, they're asking the school to investigate. Our children cannot continue in this situation. And then this woman added, our children always have a good breakfast, and it cannot be said that what's happening is due to lack of food. Good point. Because sometimes you faint if you don't have food. I'm going to go with this girl, Jane Ouija, messing with the friends. Good on you. That's good, clean fun. But don't take it too far. Do you know what I mean? It's supposed to be a game. It's supposed to be for fun. So I think there's probably one guilty person in there who's like, I went too far with the overacting. I did a little too much. But I think that fainting and mass anxiety because of a spirit, what are the chances? I don't know. Put it in the comments. What do you think? Do you think the chances of these girls fainting because they thought that there was a conjured spirit that was making them anxious and they just collapsed? Is that a real condition? Have any of you done that? I mean, I played with the Ouija board when I was in high school, and I never fainted. I made a friend cry because she was so scared. She nearly peed her pants. She didn't have to go to the hospital. But it was a different time back then. We didn't have the TikToks or the Instagrams. We had good, clean fun, like the Ouija board. We had nothing in our town. There was nothing. You know what we had? We had it wasn't even a Blockbuster. It was like a copy of a Blockbuster. It was called I don't know, Shockbuster or something. It was like a fake, they were trying to ride on the coattails of the success of Blockbuster. That wasn't even in our town. So we had a secondhand version. And then we had a dry cleaning place, a Rite Aid. And that was it, pretty much. I mean, there's a Rite Aid, a dry cleaning place, Schmockbusters, and a gas station. So there wasn't much going on. So we had to play the Ouija board. We had to make up stuff like that. We had to prank call people for fun. We had to do a lot of those things. Oh, no, there was an old man bar. That's right. There was an old man bar in our town. It would be all the old guys from 9 a.m. until 5 p.m. So after school, we would be in our Catholic uniforms, and me and Kathleen would be bored. What are we going to do? I don't know. There's nothing to do. Let's go to Schmockbusters. So here's what we did. This is a crazy story, but this is a true story. And it's bordering on maybe some abuse. So my good friend Kathleen, we would just walk around town and try to, kill time, basically. Make each other laugh. Do dares. That's what we do. Do dares. I dare you to knock on this stranger's door and ask them if you saw their fish swim by. Or I dare you to. And then one day, we're walking by the old man bar in our Catholic school uniforms. I was I don't know, maybe 13, 14 tops. And it was always a scary place that, we could smell the smoke and the sadness. It was just seeping out. And what I did was I opened the door. I said, let's just try to go in here. And so it was all dark. It was middle of daylight, dark and dank. So I opened the door and I just pushed my friend in, Kathleen, and I closed the door. And I just held it closed. And as all the old men turned around and looked at her, and this little poor girl who's in her uniform in an old man bar. And I held it long. It was a hard time. I had to hold. I was a really skinny little kid, and I had to really hold. And Kathleen was skinny too, but she was strong. And she was kicking, and I could hear her banging. And then finally, I let her out. And we had a good laugh. I mean, she cried a little bit. And then every time we talk about it, we always laugh. So those are the good memories. That, life before phones, it was fun. You had to be resourceful. And I like the girls who are like, I bet you this is what happened. I bet you, I'm going to guarantee you, the reason they all fainted and just, here's what I think. Here's my take on it. Okay, so these girls, they're not used to real interaction. They're just used to their phones, right? They're just used to doing like scrolling. Now with the Ouija board, you have to do this, and your imagination is, and then you have that one friend, Jane Ouija, who's messing with you, and then you're actually feeling all the sensations. Your imagination, you have to imagine the ghost, the spirit, whatever. You have to look and interact with other kids, and they're all scared, and you look at their faces and they're all scared. The thing is that they haven't had that interaction before because they're so used to their phones. And here's my theory about why these girls were doing the Ouija board. Do you want to hear my theory? My theory is the school was probably fed up with these kids on their phone. They're like, no more phone. Give me your phone. Drop your phone before you go to class. So they had to put their phones away. So they're like, what are they going to do? There's nothing to do without their phone. What are they going to do at recess or lunch break? What are they going to do? There's nothing to scroll. So some kid was like, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to take my mom's old-fashioned Ouija board. And we're going to do that, because they're not allowed to vape. They're not allowed to be on their phones. They can't do any of that. So they're going to do some Ouija. I mean, they got to do something during their lunch break, right? They've got an hour and a half, 2 hours to kill. They're going to play on the Ouija board. And they were overstimulated by real life sensory kind of things, like making eye contact with another schoolmate, and then having this collective, maybe it is a spirit, and then mass hysteria. You should have just given them their cell phones, and none of this would have happened. They would have never gone to the hospital. They would have just been on their phone, like proper teenagers should be, scrolling on TikTok, like a normal teenager, high school. No, you took away their cell phones, and now they're in the hospital because they were forced to play the Ouija board and conjure up spirits. And who knows? Maybe they did conjure up a spirit. Maybe the spirit was trying to get to them for years, but they were so busy on their phone that they couldn't even hear it. They couldn't conjure it. They could only conjure, Beyonce and, whatever else is going on in the news for them, for a teenager or teen. The ghosts couldn't get through. So the ghosts, as soon as they probably started that Ouija board, and the ghosts were there's probably thousands of ghosts. They're like, finally, we haven't talked to people since the late 90s, early aughts. Or no, the aughts? No, we haven't talked to people. We haven't talked to people through the Ouija since 2003. I'm doing like a Seinfeld. We haven't talked. They're the ghosts are probably like, we haven't talked to people since 2003. It's about time. I'm Ghost Jerry Seinfeld. What's the deal with these cell phones? I can't scare kids anymore. Oh God, that's terrible. That is a terrible impersonation. Anyway, the moral of the story is, let the kids have their goddamn cell phones. You're forcing them to conjure up spirits. That's what you did. You took away their cell phones, you took away their vapes, and now they go bust into their mom's storage unit in the garage, and they take her Ouija board from the 1990s. And now they're conjuring up spirits. Are you happy? Are you happy? Oh, they're off their phones. Their children need to be off their phones. They have to be off their phones because it's going to ruin their brain. Oh, really? Really? They just conjured up spirits. And now they're in the hospital because they're fainting and they have anxiety. If they were on TikTok, they would have zero anxiety. They would be fine. They wouldn't be fainting. They would be okay. Lessons learned.